We are getting old.
My dream is to be a pilot. I want to be an architect.
Geologist.
You and I are growing further. You don't really talk to me.
Hi everyone and welcome. We're here with the One Degree Alumni Podcast and we're episode 12, and today we've got Aysegul, past One Degree students from a few years ago. Really happy to have you with us today. Welcome. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just some volunteering, some gardening, just trying to get on with the day.
Nice, cool. Well, I mean, let's dive straight in. Why don't you tell everyone when you did One Degree, how long ago that was, and what you can remember from your time with One Degree, just to start us off.
With One Degree, it was a fun time. I remember it was in 2018, my last year of my GCSE, and yeah, it was a massive help with especially my maths, which was a weak point in 2018. But with the help of One Degree, I'm definitely sure I have not passed. But without the extra support and without the extra help and the assistance and the explanation that I received from a lot of the people in One Degree, it was a pleasure. And then also, having the food, the extra activities. So it's not only like education based, it's more education plus the fun element to it. So it was a perfect time, and we had the trip at the end to Fort Park, and previously went up to a restaurant. So it was more of a relaxing. So it was not in a formal, consistently from one period to another, from English to maths. It was only purely focused on your individual basics and needs that you needed, whether it's maths, English. Yeah, I remember it was such a great time. The break times, the lessons, they were all enhancing my experience and just beyond the formal education.
Oh, nice. And did you feel like when you were sort of starting to approach exams after having, several months of One Degree, did you feel like, a bit of pressure had been released? You're a little bit more confident going into the exams?
I can definitely say one of the best choices that I done in my school on the behalf of our students was being One Degree. It boosted my confidence. It generally helped me know the equations, know how to do maths, know how to do English as well. So I thought I was good at English, but that helped me further. So I'm glad that both essential core subjects were offered, and definitely was definitely a boost in going to exams. It gave me the extra sort of relief and support that I needed. It helped me ensure that I passed, which I did. So I'm thankful. Especially, being from a disadvantage in the background, it really enhanced and boosted my grades without a doubt.
Oh, so it's amazing to hear. Amazing to hear. And I mean, it's so good to hear when you can look back on it so fondly and have such nice memories from your time. So thanks so much for sharing that. I think that the main reason I wanted to catch up with you and chat with you today is to find out a little bit more about what you got up to after One Degree, and then what you're up to now. But to start off with, after you finished your GCSE, do you want to talk us through what you got up to for the next couple of years after that?
Yeah, of course. After One Degree, of course I successfully passed, thanks for the help of One Degree. I did my A-levels in English literature, in economics, business, and I done Turkish as an extra language because that's my first language, essentially. And then I've done an EPQ as well, so 4 A-levels, and I've done extended project qualification, which is like half. It allows you to gain more UCAS points for university. And I've done those within the 2 years. And just when I finished, the pandemic hit in 2020, so it wasn't the best time, but I could say I've passed all my exams, I passed all my work, and then with the help of my A-levels and the results that I achieved, I moved on to University of York. So I moved out of London to study business management, and then so after that I went to there 4 years. I've lived in York and just returned. So after 2020 A-levels, went to 4 years of uni approximately, and I graduated actually just last month. I graduated from the University of York in business and management just last month, and the graduation was very good. So I could have not achieved what I did at the end without the help that I got, like Pyra, from One Degree. So I am thankful again, and all the experiences generally enhanced. I feel like if education was like One Degree, I'm sure more people will love it.
Oh, it's amazing. And I mean, I'm so grateful that you got through, obviously, the main bit of, schooling, before the pandemic hit and everything. And then obviously you would have had to go to university, during the pandemic, which isn't ideal, I suppose. And it made it a little bit difficult for you. How was it doing that?
It was remote. We had online learning and lectures. Everything was cancelled. No social, no Freshers Week. Oddly enough, I experienced Freshers Week, or like a semi-little version, which the university arranged for us first year to have in second year, which was, instead of having in 2020, we sort of mixed ourselves with the next cohort. So 2020 cohort mixed with the 2021 cohort, and it was just very strange. Everywhere was cancelled. We were at our accommodations, just trying to get on with the day. Places were closed, the pubs were closed, the clubs were closed, the restaurants were closed. Everywhere was shut. Only essential places were open, like hospital and supermarket. But it was very odd and very strange. But luckily, University of York, they were very supportive. They had a lot of network, a lot of lines to open up if you're struggling with anything. And if you're in student accommodation, it's more student approach from the University of York. So they done a massive help. But at this time, everything was unprecedented, so no one knew what was going on. No one knew how to approach things. No one knew what to do. So we were all sort of learning on the flow, which I think the whole country was learning on the flow of what to do, whether in education or at work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, wow, man. So challenging. I mean, for everyone, but especially students at university. I really do feel for you during that time. But if we just jump back a little bit again, when you finished One Degree, did you start to have some thoughts about what your career might be, or is this something that sort of you only got to after you finished A levels, or were you thinking about a few sort of things that you wanted to get into at that point already?
I knew what I wanted to do in career, I'm a Korean before One Degree, but One Degree massively helped in terms of explore some career opportunities, some of the option, especially on the point where it brought guests. So some guests came, whether it's from different organizations. I don't know. I remember LinkedIn. I don't know why I remember that, oddly enough. I remember the LinkedIn. I don't know, because I thought it was strange why a LinkedIn company came and there was an executive who came. I think that's one of the few I remember, but we had quite a lot. We had a few inspirational, but the one that I do remember clearly was LinkedIn. She spoke about CVs, trying to use LinkedIn. And I wish I did at the time listen to advice, because now LinkedIn is very important, especially for university students, or even if you graduated post uni. Posting once in a while, no pressure, but posting once in a while just to make sure you're active. It helps out with trying to connect with other people in the industry, trying to connect and see what's everything going. LinkedIn, for my graduate scheme, I use LinkedIn, one of the companies which One Degree provided. I utilized their platform thanks to One Degree. I wasn't aware of One Degree. I wasn't aware of LinkedIn before One Degree introduced that guest. And then I did an account, and then thanks to that, one of my graduate scheme, I asked, I connected, asked about some of my graduate scheme that I applied. How is it? How's the recruitment process? I asked them questions, and that was through LinkedIn, because those students who have completed the graduate scheme I wanted, they already have been through that experience. And with One Degree's help, I got more aware. I'm much more aware at the moment with how things work. One LinkedIn, other guests, my career opportunity, I feel like it has advanced because of One Degree.
And what were you thinking, at that time about careers? What were the options in your head?
Well, my main priority was joining, a bit controversial because, at the moment with how things are going, but, we've joined the police, hopefully the Met, it was at the time and still is, joined the police through a graduate scheme called Police Now. It's very different to the main sort of stream. It's for people who who are changing careers or doing all sorts. Police Now's approach is trying to bring diverse, different individuals and graduates who's not even considered going into the police. It's very they're such a great organisation to be part of, very helpful. But after that, my police career was my number one priority, because I knew from a young age that I wanted to adventure into that path. However, of course, with business and management, you could potentially get into consulting. You could get into investment bank if you want. Very competitive with consulting, investment bank, the mainstream. But I can definitely say One Degree has helped me with my career in terms of understanding what are the options. Because I remember we had a session whereby we had career advice with what we can do, what we can adventure into, which I believe one of the things that main school stream doesn't do. I mean they do have career, and work experience and all this, but it doesn't help you with creating CV, enhancing experience, bringing in guests, which is one thing that One Degree has done in my experience for me. So I'm very thankful.
And what was it about the police that drew you to looking into a career with them? When you say you had been thinking about it for a while, or something you were really interested in, what was the appeal to you?
One of the appeal and main one is being able to help people, especially in the community. The graduate scheme that Police Now, for example, offers, or through the normal route, is getting to know your neighbourhood. You getting to know one area, so it's not in response whereby you respond to, for example, 999 then the calls. With Police Now, it allows you, with the police, the one I'm sort of hopefully going to be into, it allows me to focus on one area, get to know the residents, get to know the community. We sort of now get to collaborate in partnership with organisations, and getting to know the area, getting to know the people, really getting to the gritty and nitty of it, understanding what people need by speaking with them, and being in the front line and showing our visibility. I believe it's an essential thing to show visibility and just build that trust, because I know there's been a lot of stuff happening, so it's very important for Police Now, and especially for us police officers, hopefully once I'm joining them, for us to generally join them, ensure that we can be part of something of a change, ensure that uni graduates are there to help.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. It is such an important industry and such an important part of what we need. And I've always found British police, having traveled quite a lot around the world, I always found British police so approachable, which I think, a lot of police around in other parts of the world aren't as approachable as British police. So, I mean, that's amazing. And is the process to joining them quite difficult? You mentioned before that, obviously you have to go through quite a few bits and pieces and selection criteria and stuff like that. Can you touch it on any of that?
Yes, but there is different routes. For example, with police, there's PHEP, so there's a lot of route. One's called degree apprenticeship. There's different routes and different requirements. There's so many now, different things that they have. There's so many entries, but the one that I'm sort of pursuing is Police Now through something called National Graduate Leadership Program, NGLP, and they open it every year in September for graduates to apply. And yeah, it's got your assessment center. It's got interview. They've got a mock test style, so an incident will happen and you will have to respond. For example, so scenario based question like mock. You need to be the officer. You need to be able to demonstrate the competency and the key requirements that they are looking for graduates. And then there's something called day one, which you go for physical, you go for a medical, you go through doing the physical test element, you go for doing the tests, and So you need to do a lot of medical checks. They do, of course, and of course they need to do vetting for security purposes. There's a lot of stages to get to that, but I do believe it's worth it if you're definitely sure with the career you want. Definitely, without a doubt, is worth it. They're very helpful. And before the actual assessment centre and the dates, you have sort of like a mock version, information-based session with them as well. So they're not completely leaving you, to your own device. They do help out and give you information. And yeah, if you're the correct person, and there's a lot of opportunity, especially opportunity to advance in the Met, which is why the Met is a bit different to, quite a lot actually, different to other than the forces. Very, very different. They have more career opportunities. It's bigger, and of course, because it's London, it changes. So yeah. Very good.
And so bringing us up to the present, bring us up to right now. Where are you at this whole process, and what are you up to now, and what are some of those next steps in fulfilling that dream?
I should have joined this year in July, actually, last month. I should have joined. We have the academy as well, all on their website, police now. But I deferred it, so I deferred it to the next year. So I deferred it to 2025 intake instead. And I'm going to have to repeat, not the whole assessment centre, but I'm going to have to repeat, I'm going to basically have to do another interview, but it's nothing. So when you apply first, it's more, you've got more tasks to do, but because I've already sort of done that and I'm just deferring, they just have to make sure I've got still the motivation, that I'm still the right person for the role. But yeah, I need to just repeat like day one. It's called day one and day two assessment centre, which is physical. They have to do that because you're doing a year in advance. So you're doing it for the next year. They have to do it, in advance. You need to do physical. You need to do the medical. They need to do your hearing checks. They need to make sure that your eyesight and just the basics. They have to cover all of them. And then, so for me, I just need to do that day, and then I need to repeat the physical test and everything, which is a bleep test. You do have to do, but I do believe it's a career like your lifetime. So it's not a career that you keep changing. It's like a lifelong sort of career that you get into, and you can then the progress, and laws are always changing. So you can learn, about new laws. It's very interesting to learn how policing approaches are changing, with having just trying to ensure that it's fair, and that's what's important, that it's fair on whomever it is, whoever the sort of the person that we're probably having to deal with, whether it be an officer, whether it be someone else, or we just need to ensure that the public that we're serving is a priority, and that there's trust built in the community that we genuinely want to serve and help them, especially on the bad days. So sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, being there for someone's bad day, essentially for me, is what my characteristics are. Is I'm sort of, my characteristic fits with the role, and so being able to be there on someone's bad day is fulfillment for me, essentially, and I take a lot of joy and pleasure from that. So that's why I'm getting into the career I am.
It's amazing, and you're speaking so highly of it and so well about it. And you've obviously really thought about this for a long time, so no doubt you're going to be an amazing police officer, and they're gonna be so lucky to have you. It feels like it's such an amazing career for you. Have you, with all of this kind of thought, and obviously been thinking about it a while, and the little bits of experience you've had so far, is there a section within the Met or a section within the wider police force that interests you more than another, that you'd love to get into in, say, 10 years or 15 years or 20 years time, once you've progressed through? Is there one element that really, really does interest you more than another?
To be honest, this 2-year sort of like a graduate in the program called Police and National Graduate Leadership Program, NGLP, is a 2-year base in the neighbourhood police officer role. So that's where my main focus is at the moment. I'm not thinking too far ahead. I'm not thinking about one section or one sort of title, one career. I'm more thinking I want to do this, and we can see about career progression afterwards. I want to be more open to options, and to opportunities. So I'm not like closing myself to one part per se, because the Met has a lot of options and a lot of career. So the Metropolitan Police, the Met, so I should clarify that. The Metropolitan Police, the Met, I keep calling it the Met, they've got a lot of options and a lot of career opportunities and a lot of mentoring as well, because I visited, the grounds and I checked it out, and I did do 4 years of police cadet roughly as well prior to uni. So actually when I was in One Degree, I'd done it before One Degree and during One Degree, like a few hours a week I was going to Glazemore, like to the Haringey. So I was volunteering as well there, police cadet volunteer, so I was volunteering with them. So it's been a sort of like the years of work and progression, and since I was a young age. A bit cliche to say, but yeah.
No, I mean, I love that answer. You saying you want to be open to everything and not sort of think too far and just take it one step at a time. That's actually very wise, and it sounds like a really good approach. I mean it's been such a nice summary and such a nice learning about what you've been up to and how well you've been doing. So thank you so much for that. I suppose just to wrap up, have you got any advice for GCSE students that are going into their GCSE year and are really worried and stressed and got all that pressure that you might remember so well that GCSE students have from their home and from the school and everything? Have you got any advice for them?
All I can say is, especially one piece of advice is, as long as you put yourself, you try your best, there's nothing else you can do. As long as you put the hard work in, as long as you try your best, as long as you, especially when you're One Degree or during school as well, but in One Degree as well, if you put all your hard work, and at the end of the day, whatever the results is, I'm sure there are options, opportunities to progress, and you just got to keep positive and ensure that you try your best and pass, so that it helps out with your future ventures that you get into, whether it's uni, whether it's now more popular known as apprenticeships, whether it's straight into work. Just ensure you try your best and you don't give up. That's what piece of advice is.
Amazing. Love it. It's been so great catching up with you, and I'm really looking forward to catching up with you again in the future to see how this has progressed on, and we can dive a little bit deeper into how a career's going and everything. But just want to thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Perfect. I really appreciate it as well that One Degree has offered, like you as well, and One Degree has offered this opportunity for me to speak. And definitely, hopefully by then I shall be an officer by next year. I should give you more information and tell you more about the role from my experience by then. But yeah, I do appreciate everything One Degree has done for me, and it's a very great experience I had, and I do appreciate all of your hard work, including yourself. And everyone,
thank you so much. It's been great.
Everyone else, yeah.
No, thank you so much, and as I say, can't wait to hear about how everything goes when we catch up again. So thank you to everyone listening. This has been the One Degree Alumni Podcast. This is episode 12, and you've been listening to Aysegul and Roger, myself from One Degree. Aysegul was a student from 2018. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.